I've got fabric to sort. Lots and lots and lots of fabric. If you haven't seen the first video about me getting my own personal crafting space, do have a look at the cards up above. I will tag in the first video all about the building of my sewing shed or my sewing studio. This one tells you a little bit more about some of the fabrics I've got. I give the place a bit of a tidy up, and yeah, some of the projects I'm going to be doing in the future. I cannot wait to share them all with you, and I hope you enjoy. If you do, please do give this video a like, give us a comment, and also subscribe to the channel, because there will be lots of crazy stuff happening in the future. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Thank you. Okay, so that's most of the sorting done. Here I've got a pile of cottons that I was going to make dresses out of. In here we've got some bits and pieces that were making me feel Ursula and the Little Mermaid. So I've got sequins and satin and net, excuse the ruffling. I've got Wonder Mesh here, so I'm going to try doing some sort of corseted undergarments for dresses that I'm making. We've got some bamboo wool here. This is going to be for a dry robe for my aqua yoga, and then I've got a little bit of lycra there. And then over here, so those are the curtains that are going up here. That's some leftover fabric from a project I did for my brother. It's quite old fabric. I'm going to see if I can make a corset out of it. We have got taffeta linings. We have got crepes. This is satins here, excuse my finger, and more satins. These were all sold as taffetas, and I don't know if you can see the colour of that one, and also that one is just divine. So yes, they're lovely. I've got some fleeces, a nice rainbow of fleece for my next coat, and then up the top, this was sold as fleece. But it's only one-sided, so I don't really like it, although I'm sure I'll come up with something. We've got some felts, we've got even more taffeta here, we've got a Verboa and some Dalmatian fur. I've also got some leather as well for doing a, that's better, a 101 Dalmatian Cruella coat. We've just got some cheap satin linings, we've got more fantasy kind of stuff here and here, and I absolutely love this snakeskin. I've got quite a few different ideas to do with this one. Here we've got all nets and chiffons and sort of sheer fabrics. We've got velvets down below, we've got stretch, mainly that side, and these are more solid, although that is a stretch and that's a solid non-stretch, so they really need to be swapped over. On the bottom there, that's the leather to go with Cruella, and then underneath, excuse my funky slippers, I've got some cord and some brocades. That is all muslins. Here is where I was doing more historic stuff, so most of this is cotton here, although we've got a little bit of lace tucked in there as well. Here are linens and denim. We've got some calico there, and then the rest of this is more of a canvas, so excellent for when you're doing more corseted garments. We've got wools here and poly wools. We've got, these are all cottons here and more cotton there. Up the top there, I'll come to, I don't really know what I'm doing with it. I'll come up with an idea or I'll move it on. And then we've got, that was the start of a Beauty and the Beast dress, but I'm going to go with something different. I think we've gone a bit blurred. Here I have got jerseys, a few more sort of casual ideas coming out of that one. We've got some suiting here, and I don't know whether the DC stuff is 100% cotton or poly cotton. I need to double check. I've then got a big bag of red wool. I've got some almost a polished cotton here that I was using for a lining. I've got this fabulous brown wool blend with embroidery on it, and then we've got just a plain black wool in here. And I think that's about everything. So yeah, I have an issue with hoarding fabric, but now I have the space, I am going to do stuff. So watch this space. So 13 days ago I didn't have a shed at all, and I think there's still lots to do, but I'm kind of set up and ready. So have a tour. So I've got, oh hold on, camera issues. I've got most of my fabric out now. I've tried to get as much of it on bolts as I can just to try and save a bit of space, and it has massively reduced what was there. So I'm going to have room for my books. I've got some patterns to come down, and I've got some little drawers with zips in. Over in this corner, it's work in progress still, and that's going to be where I keep all my cleaning supplies and a lot of my stationery tools for drafting and things. And I've got my ironing board hiding there. I've got my backdrop curtain up, which can disappear. I've got plans for that back wall. Over there I've got my machine table and all my silks out for my embroidery machine, and that's going to be where my other table is. That's all the DIY bits because I'm still not quite finished. And we've got the sofa complete with ivy. I've still got curtains to go up, I've still got a few pictures to hang, I've still got a shelving unit to come down from the house, and I've got something going on the wall behind the curtain. But yeah, I'm kind of set up and ready to rock and roll. So hopefully this weekend, I think it's still meant to be torrential rain, so this weekend I'm going to get the curtains up and get the machines down here so I can actually start sewing. So yeah, there we go. And I've got to get the mirror hung. Anyway, see ya. What feels like week 10 gazillion since the shed went up. I think I've got everything set up. I'm absolutely shattered. Trying to work my job and get all this sorted and put the house back together again, where I'm taking all the stuff out of the house. Yeah, I've got a lot of tidying to do, but I'll get around to it. So yeah, my sewing machines all came down this morning. I've got my original dress mannequin from Bootstrap in, but I'm going to make a new one. The patterning on the fabric that I've used, it's a bit busy, so when you're trying to see what's on the dress model, it just takes over. So I'm just going to get a nice plain simple one and get that done. Yeah, and I'm actually at a position where I need to start sewing, and I can't decide what to make. Every time I look at a different bit of fabric, I think, oh, I want to make that, but I've kind of got to slow down, make a decision on what goes first, and then start chipping away at my big book of ideas, because I've got hundreds. So yeah, quick look round. So as shown before, we've got the sofa set up with my corset bundled in the corner. I've got my collection of inspirational books down there. That's mainly spare fabrics and all my patterns and self-drafted patterns. I have got my wool blends, and I cannot wait to start using this one. It's so pretty. There I have my cottons and polycottons. The bottom there is more historical stuff and suiting, and right down at the bottom I've got all my stays, corsets, petticoats, bustle tails, lobster bustles, that kind of thing. Obviously doggy water bowl, because they spend most of their time down here with me. Down here at the bottom, I've put my Ursula netting underneath. I've got that bag which is full of different nets and shawls. So on the bottom we've got muslin and we've got cottons, quite sturdy cottons for corseting. Next shelf up I've got all my velvets and my stretches. Excuse the doggy barking in the background, it's not mine. I've got here all my floaty chiffony organzas, and then up on this shelf I have got just storage boxes with different bits and pieces in there, all decorated. And then I've got my fleeces, I've got my satins and my taffetas all there. Some of them were really, really cheap. They were like £1 for 3 meters, so they'll be great for doing mock-ups and doing a bit more fantasy stuff. Over here, still a little bit of a dumping ground. I've got my boxes to organise. I've then got my shelf of stuff that I don't quite know what to do with. And then we've got the refreshment station. I've got a rack for putting all my designs on, and hiding behind there is my ironing board and my dad's old drawing board that I'll be using for pattern drafting. Here we have the original dress mannequin. I've got my moonlight up. I'm going to do a video on making that if anyone's interested. Over this side, I'm going to come around the long way, so don't get too dizzy with me walking around. I've got my fun jukebox I made for my daughter's 16th birthday. She wanted a sweet 16 rock and roll party. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to make a jukebox for that, but it is a secret jukebox which I will show you in a minute. In the corner over here we have some silk flowers, all my embroidery satins, and I'm watching costuming drama on the laptop. Got a couple of pictures up and my lovely Jack Skellington clock. Still haven't remembered to bring the batteries down, but I will. We've got the embroidery machine hiding under there. We've got the general sewing machine there, and then we've still got a bit of a junky corner over here with my serger, all my bits on the wall for organising myself, and then under there we have scrap fabrics and my yoga mat for when I have to do sitting on the floor doing hemming, and I have to wear trainers when I'm standing because this floor is really hard on my legs. And then in the corner I've got a selection of fabrics and goodies. So yes, I'm going to show you inside my jukebox. Right, let me just put that there for a moment. Apologies, you're going to get my big bottom in the way. So behind the jukebox we have my mirror so I can check fittings, etc. And then we have got my storage solution. So hidden in there we've got a speaker so I can actually use it as a jukebox, and it's programmed with my old iPad. And then in all these drawers I've got boning, I've got belt buckles, fastenings, sequins, velcros, buttons, pins, glue guns, cables, pens, ribbons, you name it, it's all in there. So yeah, while it's a bit of a beast on the outside for the jukebox, inside is actually pretty practical. And then I think up here, once I figure out what I'm doing with getting that cable plugged in, I'm going to get myself a little bit of a projects board going, and maybe attach some magnetic strips on there so I can stick bits and pieces up, or get a whiteboard on there and start planning what I'm doing, rather than the current method of just frantically trying to do something and not coming up with anything. So yeah, that is the shed. And I said before, I've got my table. I've actually just pulled out a red threaded corset, trying to convince myself to get started on that, because that will be a base foundation for about half a dozen different projects I want to start on. Yeah. So, rock and roll, let's go.